Survival in the savanna arena is an eternal race. Speed or endurance. Brute strength or cunning wisdom. Solitary skill or team tactics. Watch and discover the answers in an animal documentary. Savage fights. Survival tactics of apex predators. September arrives, and the Serengeti enters the dry season. Temperatures frequently reach 40 degrees Celsius. Humidity drops to nearly zero. As the temperature falls, the atmospheric pressure shifts, and the masters of the night begin to stir. Lions, the monarchs of the plains, are entering their most potent phase. This is when the social order is reaffirmed. The male lion eats first to maintain the strength required to protect the territory, followed by the lionesses, and finally, the cubs. Yet, the pride's feast is never a private affair. From a distance of more than 10 kilometers, these persistent scavengers have already sensed the conclusion of the nocturnal hunt. They are particularly sensitive to the frequencies emitted when a catch is secured. Instead of expending calories to hunt for themselves, hyenas patiently wait for the lions to perform all the heavy lifting, only to appear at the precise moment when their counterparts have grown weary. If you had to choose a survival strategy, would you choose the power of the lion pride or the cunning and opportunism of the hyenas? Whatever the answer may be, this is merely the prelude to the relentless struggle for existence on the savanna. To the south, another contest unfolds. A battle of speed and endurance. Okavango is hailed as the jewel of the Kalahari, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and one of the 7 natural wonders of Africa. Life here is sustained by rains. From the distant highlands of Angola. Taking months to traverse thousands of miles before flowing into the Kalahari Basin. At the precise moment, the harshest dry season begins. This is a quintessential endorheic basin. By night, the most formidable hunters sweep across every battlefield. So that when the sun rises, the subdominant species begin their race for survival. Before the sunlight sears away every remaining trace. The dry season is a grueling test of thermoregulation. Humidity drops rapidly from 80% to 20%. This is when the metabolic cost of movement under the sun surges. Lions, with their massive muscle blocks and thick layers of fat, cannot endure the inefficient heat dissipation required for a chase under the 35 degrees Celsius sun. That is precisely when the cheetah steps onto the stage. They choose to confront the heat directly in exchange for safety from the formidable scavengers. 70% of their hunting budget is spent during the daylight hours. The contest begins by securing natural high points. To scan for a target. The cheetah utilizes every dense thicket and habitat edge to remain invisible. A cheetah can accelerate to over 100 kilometers per hour in just a few seconds. Yet its pursuit is more intricate than a simple marathon. It is a complex sequence of behaviors. Stalking, explosive acceleration, sudden braking. Sudden turns. Securing the quarry is only half the journey. On the savanna, the scent of blood is an invitation to the transition of life. The cheetah must lower its guard, consuming its meal rapidly to minimize its presence by the remains, and vanishing before the scavengers can arrive. Yet, for a mother cheetah, she must eat more slowly. This vigilance is dedicated to her vulnerable cubs. For a long time, there was a prevailing view that cheetahs often abandon a chase because their bodies overheat during the pursuit. However, in 2013, groundbreaking research by Hettam indicated that the peak rise in temperature only occurs after the hunt. It is a consequence of neurological stress and the massive expenditure of energy required to secure the quarry. The cheetah stops simply because the energy investment has exceeded the expected return, or because the prey has triumphed in the physical dance of inertia. The predator possesses a muscle fiber power output exceeding that of the quarry by 20%, and their acceleration capabilities are more potent by 37%. To counterbalance that raw power, the quarry holds a golden key to unlock the door of survival. The capacity for high-speed turns. They rarely run at 100% velocity during a pursuit, often at only about 80% of their maximum speed. Thus, they retain the ability for extreme maneuverability and balance. That escape distance is sometimes measured only in millimeters. In the unforgiving world of the savanna, those few millimeters are the boundary separating a crimson feast. From a precious opportunity to continue existing under the light of tomorrow's dawn. But escaping the ambushes of lions, or the high-speed pursuits of the cheetah, does not mean the race for survival has concluded. For there exists another force, even more formidable than the fastest runner. A sustained velocity of 60 to 72 kilometers per hour. Over a distance extending up to 5 kilometers. African wild dogs are the ultimate counter to high-speed sprinters. And to the clever quarry that utilizes sharp turns to evade. The secret lies in the mechanism of additive, opportunistic capture. While the quarry executes a sharp turn to throw off a pursuer through centrifugal force. It inadvertently delivers itself into the attack trajectory of other figures cutting corners from behind. Their success rate reaches an astonishing level, 85% to 90%. The highest figure among the great carnivorous families, far exceeding the 25% rate of the lion. However, the higher the return, the greater the risk. Just as with the cheetah, after the hunt, wild dogs face a difficult dilemma: kleptoparasitism. To protect their results, they are forced to consume their sustenance immediately. Lions are the primary cause of mortality for wild dogs. To evade these brutal monarchs, they have even employed a human buffer zone strategy. Human settlements are places that lions, due to an instinctive fear of the species at the top of the food chain, consistently avoid. In the open woodlands of Kruger National Park, a new world order is established. This land once witnessed indigenous tribes living in harmony with the Big Five. Before becoming the first sanctuary of South Africa in 1898. With an area of approximately 20,000 square kilometers, comparable to a small nation. Every 1,000-year-old baobab tree in Kruger carries within it the spirit of ancient hunters. The leopard is a master opportunistic carnivore with an incredibly diverse menu. From insects, reptiles, and fish, to formidable challenges like the warthog or baboon. However, they consistently prioritize quarry weighing between 10 and 40 kilograms, such as the impala or duiker. Large enough to make the pursuit worthwhile, yet small enough for a solitary hunter to subdue without risking life-altering injuries. Unlike the cheetah, which gambles everything on speed, the leopard is a master of ambush with ultimate patience. Every stride is one of absolute silence, thanks to soft paw pads and flexible, retractable claws. The singular objective is to close the distance to between 3 and 10 meters. With eyes 6 times more light-sensitive than those of a human, ears that rotate 180 degrees like radar, and a sensory organ on the roof of the mouth that allows them to taste scents in the air. Extraordinary strength allows them to overcome quarry weighing up to 10 times their own body mass. However, on the savanna, displacement of resources is a fundamental law. To contend with those who would seize their prize, the leopard is compelled to employ catching. Harnessing the absolute power of its neck and shoulder muscle blocks, it can grasp a quarry weighing twice or even 3 times its own body mass. In this elevated dining room, the remains are secured from the olfactory senses of hyenas. And the line of sight of the lion. The true monarchs of the savanna. If the leopard is a solitary phantom, then lions are the personification of a social empire. They are the only feline species capable of mobilizing an entire collective to dominate the ecosystem. The sovereignty of the lion is established upon an understanding of light. During the nights of a bright full moon, they often reduce their activity to avoid detection. This inadvertently yields 40% of the hunting time budget to wild dogs and cheetahs. However, as the moon wanes and thick darkness takes hold, lions return to their status as masters of the shadow hunt. At this time, the detection capability of the quarry drops sharply by 60 to 70%, allowing the monarch to stalk within a range of only 35 to 40 meters while remaining completely invisible. With a ratio of rod cells reaching 25 to 1, compared to humans and the tapetum lucidum behind the retina, lions possess night vision 6 to 8 times better than our own. They do not see darkness. They see opportunity. During a hunt, the lionesses often employ a wing and center formation. In this arrangement, the wings are the most agile and flexible individuals. Encircle and drive the quarry. Into a predetermined trajectory. There, the centers will lie in wait. However, cooperation within the lion pride is not a moral behavior. It is an economic equation performed by those who calculate risk with extreme precision. Which big cat hunting style do you admire more? The teamwork tactics of the lion pride, or the solitary ambush skills of the leopard? Returning to the lion's hunt for quarry that is small and easily captured. Not every individual exerts full effort. Many will choose the role of cheetahs or stand by as observers to conserve energy and avoid unnecessary injuries. But when the targets are perilous giants, the level of comprehensive cooperation across the entire pride rises to its peak. This includes the male lions. According to LiDAR data, in areas of dense vegetation where visibility is limited to approximately 3.4 meters, the male lion transforms its massive frame into an advantage. Their strategy is one of patient suffocation of time. When the moment is ripe, the male lion lunges with a velocity that can reach 80 kilometers per hour. However, this burst lasts only for a short distance of 100 to 200 meters. If it cannot reach the quarry within those few seconds, the hunt is considered a failure. At the point of impact, the technique for subduing the quarry is refined according to a precise scale of mass. With the giants, the contest becomes more grueling. Beneath the shadow of sovereignty, the male lion does more than protect the territory. They are solitary ambush warriors, maintaining the balance of the ecosystem at a cost paid in solitude and intense physical struggle. In the unforgiving energy market of the savanna, supreme hunting skills are sometimes still insufficient. A harsh truth consistently persists. The one who brings down the quarry is not necessarily the one who enjoys the results. And lions are not beyond utilizing cunning maneuvers themselves. In resource-rich areas, such as the Ngorongoro crater or the Serengeti, lions can obtain up to 50% of their annual food intake solely through the seizure of others' catches. The cheetah loses approximately 10 to 15% of its secured quarry to lions. Meanwhile, the wild dogs, despite possessing the highest hunting success rate, frequently face blatant taxation from lions. Seizing prey allows the lion to maintain an exceptionally high return on investment. Instead of engaging in an energy-draining pursuit with a failure rate as high as 75%. The most dramatic struggles over resources consistently unfold between lions and hyenas. Typically, a hyena clan can protect a meal from a few lionesses if they maintain an overwhelming numerical advantage of 4-1. However, every calculation of superior numbers for the hyenas collapses the moment a male lion appears. With superior muscle mass and a thick mane protecting the neck, a single adult male lion can independently drive away a clan of 20 hyenas. Pop culture has long framed hyenas in the role of the antagonist. But the reality is entirely different. Spotted hyenas are among the most efficient predators on the dark continent. Depending on the fluctuations of the ecosystem, they conduct their own hunts and directly secure between 43% and 95% of their consumed sustenance. The bone fragments left by others are merely a minor supplement in an energy economy that they completely master. The ideal weight of their quarry fluctuates between 56 and 182 kilograms. A threshold that allows them to optimize the balance between effort expended and nutrition gained. However, evidence shows they are not constrained by the size of the target. Despite living in massive clans with complex social structures, the hunting tactics of hyenas are remarkably flexible due to the fission-fusion mechanism. In fact, as many as 75% of hunts are performed by solitary individuals. A mature hyena is fully capable of independently bringing down a target weighing 3 times its own body mass. Hunting alone allows the hunter to consume up to 20 kilograms of meat within the first 15 minutes, reclaiming maximum energy before the chaos of the clan erupts. However, when facing true giants such as the zebra, buffalo, or giraffe, hyenas shift into the fusion state. Lacking the sophisticated role allocation of lions, the cooperation of hyenas relies on simple yet effective stochastic rules. This minimalist synergy increases the success rate by 20% to 35%. The hunt commences by approaching the herbivore herd from downwind in a fan-shaped formation. In that moment of chaos, they observe every stride and every breath of the adversary to mark the most vulnerable target. Spotted hyenas are masters of cursorial hunting. With forelimbs longer than their hind limbs, creating their trademark sloping back, combined with a massive heart and lung system, hyenas possess an abundant and persistent oxygen supply. This allows them to maintain a velocity of 60 kilometers per hour over distances of up to 4 kilometers. Rather than sprinting, they can trot for hours on end, turning the quarry's exhaustion into an irreversible sentence. It is an unyielding contest, with life fading within a period of 30 seconds to 13 minutes. If strength and endurance are the foundation of the hyena's dynasty, then social intelligence is the software operating that survival engine. In the natural world, we often celebrate primates for their cognitive abilities. But empirical experiments in animal behavior laboratories have yielded a staggering conclusion. Spotted hyenas possess the ability to resolve complex cooperative tasks, far surpassing many primate species. They are capable of interpreting the intentions of their teammates, adjusting their behavior in real time, and executing collaborative calculations that even the most intelligent chimpanzees struggle to master. Evolution has encoded a superior social algorithm into the hyena's brain, allowing them to maintain massive clan structures while ensuring unity during high-stakes competitions for resources. However, the social intelligence of the hyena always faces a challenging reality: scramble competition. To persist within that chaos, hyenas have evolved into the most efficient energy processors on the planet. Scientists have recorded their ability to consume bone and flesh at a rate of up to 1.3 kilograms per minute. That means a clan can collectively clear the remains of a mature zebra in under 40 minutes, ensuring no resources are wasted. But within the strict hierarchy of the clan, not everyone is seated at the center of the feast. Consequently, they often retreat with their prize. It is a remarkable lesson in pragmatism. Intelligence is not only used to plan a capture, but also to manage the upheaval. There, every individual finds a niche to survive under the shadow of the most intense competition. From the parched open woodlands of Kruger, moving southeast is the Maputaland region in South Africa. Finda Private Game Reserve is globally renowned for its 7 worlds. Within an area of approximately 28,000 hectares, visitors can traverse through 7 entirely distinct ecosystems. From arid rocky mountain ranges, vast open grasslands, to papyrus reed marshes, and especially the rare sand forest, a sanctuary for ancient trees thousands of years old, found nowhere else on Earth. Situated near the Indian Ocean, Finda is influenced by a humid, subtropical climate. Due to the moisture blowing in from the sea, combined with the fine dust of the red sands, sunsets at Finda possess an amber hue more concentrated than anywhere else. The light at this moment bends, creating the phenomenon known as the gray hour. As the sun descends, the temperature differential between air masses creates gusts of wind through the thorn bushes and Lobombo wattle canopies. This continuous rustling creates a natural white noise, neutralizing the auditory warning systems of herbivores. This is the hour of the Mesopredators. The serval does not possess the raw strength for direct confrontation, but it masters an ecological niche based on the transcendence of its hearing. Instead of squandering calories on futile pursuits, the serval invests in calculated stillness. The serval's hunt is a 3-step technical process. The first step is listen. The head tilt is a sophisticated biomechanical movement to refine and lock onto the direction of sound. This is the cat species possessing the largest ears relative to body size in the entire feline family. They have the ability to rotate independently 360 degrees, combined with an immense ear canal system acting as acoustic amplifiers, allowing the serval to precisely locate the frequency of vibrations from a distance where the naked eye is entirely helpless. The second step is pinpoint. The serval transitions into a state of the freeze. And once the target is locked within its sights, it executes the final step. Leap If servals are the sophisticated radars of the wetlands, then the caracal is the resilient warrior of the harsh wilderness. With a robust body, more muscular than its slender relative, the caracal does not limit itself to soft grasslands. They are multi-terrain conquerors. During the day, they conceal themselves within rock crevices or thickets to evade the scorching heat and the gaze of apex predators. Caracals are renowned as the most formidable aerial combat specialists of the feline family. The tactic begins with absolute stealth when approaching a target. The mysterious long black tufts at the tips of the ears serve both to facilitate visual communication between individuals and as sensitive antennas, capturing the faintest acoustic frequencies of prey. Hind legs longer than the front ones allow the caracal to launch spectacular leaps up to 3 meters straight into the air. To protect its nourishment from larger carnivores, instead of rushing to consume on-site, they often perform a savings behavior. This screen helps conceal the scent from the keen olfactory senses of adversaries, preserving calories for subsequent meals in secure solitude. Honey badger and greater honey guide. Deep in the heart of the Niassa Special Reserve in northern Mozambique, one of the largest and most pristine wilderness areas remaining on the dark continent, spanning over 42,000 square kilometers. A place where the boundaries between folklore and biological reality frequently blur beneath the moonlight. Legend tells that the honey guide emits a distinctive call to summon the honey badger, leading it to a beehive to share the spoils. However, throughout more than 200 years of field observations, almost no biologist has successfully documented verified evidence of this interaction. A 2023 study published in the Journal of Zoology, featuring nearly 400 interviews with honey hunters across 11 communities in 9 African nations, revealed that 80% of the most experienced hunters claimed they had never witnessed a honey badger and a greater honey guide traveling together. Only a small number of hunters from the Hadzabe and Maasai tribes in Tanzania reported that they had ever seen this interaction. Scientists suggest that this may be an extremely rare behavior occurring only within localized ranges, or simply a coincidence woven into a narrative to justify their names. Researchers conclude that this is likely merely opportunistic commensalism. The greater honey guide is the only bird species possessing specialized bacteria in its gut to digest beeswax. Instead of actively guiding, this bird may simply follow the honey badger passively. In contrast, the only partner scientifically proven to understand these acoustic signals and cooperate closely with them is humanity. In Nyassa, honey hunters emit a specific vocal call, and the honey guide responds, leading them precisely to the beehive's location to receive a reward of beeswax from human hands. On the savanna, the end of life is not the only force governing existence. There exists a power more silent, more pervasive, woven into every breath of every living soul, the landscape of fear. An invisible map drawn by memory and instinct. A lush green meadow may be abandoned if it lies too close to thickets, where a leopard might remain concealed. A cool watering hole can become a restricted zone at twilight if it serves as the marching route for a lion pride. Pressure from apex predators creates a persistent haunting for prey, and for the more vulnerable carnivores as well, compelling them to alter their entire behavior, restructuring how they utilize space and allocate their active hours. In regions with high lion density, impala are forced to reduce precious feeding time to increase their level of vigilance by an additional 40%. This signifies a severe deficit in their reserved calorie stores. It leads to a decline in physical condition, reproductive rates, and the well-being of future generations. This choice results in a trophic cascade because prey are too fearful to approach the thickets. Grass and saplings there flourish more vigorously, unintentionally altering the very geographic appearance of the land. But instinctive avoidance is never the final solution. To persist within this energy market, prey must evolve sophisticated defensive algorithms, transforming fear into a superior biological weapon. The savanna is a massive surveillance network where information regarding life-threatening forces is shared across species boundaries. The impala has learned to decode these sounds to immediately activate an escape mode before the leopard can launch its fateful pounce. This is a biological information exchange. The baboon provides the line of sight. And in return, the commotion of the impala herd on the ground also helps the baboon identify the direction of the adversary's approach. For the baboon, sleep is a defensive campaign. The top priority is always steep rock faces or the highest treetops. Furthermore, as natural cliffs become scarce due to human intervention, they have begun utilizing high-voltage power pylons as sleeping quarters. These towering steel structures provide not only a 360-degree view, but also a physical barrier that is nearly impenetrable for a leopard. If an ambush occurs at night, the baboon deploys a reverse psychological tactic, the freeze and silence tactic. Fleeing blindly in the darkness only makes them more likely to fall into the leopard's snare. They understand that in the deep of night, sound is the adversary's only radar. A few days after an encounter, the entire troop will move to an entirely different sleeping area. The goal of this tactical migration is to disrupt the hunting cycle and the stalking habits of that specific leopard. They do not wait for a repeat of the event. They proactively erase their traces from the predator's map. For super herds, the most intelligent strategy is not becoming the strongest, but rather becoming the most difficult to target. This is the principle of the dilution effect. In a larger collective, the probability of a specific individual being selected as dinner is inversely proportional to the number of members. When 1,000 wildebeest run together, the risk to each individual drops to only 0.1%. Zebras have elevated the dilution effect to a new level by combining it with optical physics. Their contrasting black and white stripes create motion dazzle. The predator cannot determine where one individual begins and another ends. Survival also lies in the ability to borrow the senses of other species. Warthogs frequently join impala clubs to take advantage of the keen ears and elevated line of sight of this species. The level of vigilance does not depend on the strength of the adversary, but rather on the success rate of the hunt. This means that while the fear of lions is the greatest, prey often maintain a higher level of vigilance toward wild dogs. Finally, when the algorithms of space or the dilution mechanisms of the crowd are neutralized by the hunter. The struggle for survival enters its most intense phase: close combat. Evolution has equipped seemingly vulnerable species with formidable physical tools. When backed into a corner, warthogs are true gladiators. The best defense is sometimes a daring offensive maneuver. The Mara River originates from the Mau Highlands and flows through Kenya's Masai Mara National Reserve. This is the most formidable hydrological barrier within the Great Migration, an arena of destiny where Africa's entire massive biomass is compressed into narrow crossing points only a few dozen meters wide. For the Maasai warriors, the Mara River is the mother's milk nourishing their livestock through the most punishing drought seasons. This river has witnessed the rise and fall of wilderness kingdoms since the Pleistocene epoch. And today, it stands firm as one of the seven wonders of Africa. August marks the peak of the dry season. Dissolved oxygen levels in the water plummet due to the presence of thousands of accumulated animal remains. This is a massive process of nutrient cycling. The remains of those who do not survive provide a colossal amount of phosphorus and nitrogen to the aquatic ecosystem for many months to follow. Nile crocodile is a master of stealth that has persisted for millions of years with almost no need to alter its evolutionary form. It is an entity so perfected that nature found no points requiring adjustment. As an ectotherm, the crocodile possesses an extremely low basal energy consumption. It can remain motionless for days or even weeks, waiting for a single explosive moment. With a staggering bite force of up to 3,700 pounds per square inch, the strongest in the modern animal kingdom. When the target is secured, The Nile crocodile utilizes the kinetic energy of its entire massive body to rotate continuously. The energy cost expended for a single hunting phase is very small compared to the massive protein dividends from a wildebeest weighing hundreds of kilograms. Mature Nile crocodiles have almost no adversaries. However, their young are fragile lives with a high casualty rate due to predators that are smaller, yet more cunning. And as the cold-blooded predators retreat, a hunting algorithm based on frequency and vibration begins to activate. Pell's fishing owl is not an inhabitant of open fields. They are scattered from Senegal to Ethiopia and down to South Africa. But where they truly become legendary is within the watery fingers of the Okavango. Here, the density of the vegetation creates black holes of light, where human entry is nearly impossible, yet it serves as the perfect stage for a specialized assassin. While other owl species rely on fine plumage to neutralize sound when hunting rodents, Pell's fishing owl prioritizes wingspan power over futile silence. Because fish, its primary target, lie beneath the water's surface. According to the physical principles of environmental interfaces, sound from the air is almost entirely reflected when it strikes the surface of the water. Its legs are devoid of feathers to reduce drag when plunging into the water, and the soles of its feet are equipped with thousands of tiny spicules. This is a perfect anti-slip design to lock onto the mucus layer of fish skin in a single snatch. This is the Karoo region and the fringes of the Kalahari Desert, an ecosystem defined by scarcity. This land offers only modest feasts. rodents, small birds, and insects. Here, unbelievable stories exist regarding a tiny feline species. According to the accounts of sand hunters, this cat is so courageous that it can bring down an entire giraffe. They call it the anthill tiger. Of course, this is merely an exaggeration of the black-footed cat's bravery. The name originates from the characteristic black fur on the soles of its feet, which helps protect its body from the searing heat of the desert sand during the day. With a weight of barely 1.5 kilograms, it appears more like an adorable domestic tabby than a wilderness assassin. But do not let its dimensions deceive you. This is the most efficient hunting feline on the planet, with a staggering predatory success rate of up to 60%. As night descends, the air temperature on the savanna drops rapidly, causing the ground to dissipate heat into the cold atmosphere. The Kopji's rock formations retain heat longer, creating localized hot spots. As an ectothermic organism, the African rock python utilizes this temperature differential for camouflage. The system of labial pits running along its upper lip is an infrared sensing apparatus so sensitive it can detect minute thermal changes. The African rock python is the largest snake species on the continent, with lengths that can exceed 6 meters. Combined with patience and pure muscular power, it generates a constriction force of up to 14 pounds per square inch. A meal can sometimes weigh as much as the python's own body. To process this massive volume of protein, the rock python's digestive system must operate at maximum capacity. This is the phase of specific dynamic action. Throughout the digestion process, lasting several weeks, the African rock python enters a state of lethargy, rendered almost incapable of self-defense. However, the reward is an abundant source of calories, sufficient for it to retire throughout the entire dry season without needing to conduct another hunt. In contrast to the patience and raw power of the African rock python, the black mamba is the embodiment of speed, precision, and pure apprehension. an active entity dominating the thickets and rocky hills of East and Southern Africa with a reputation that has become legendary. The operational range of the black mamba stretches across the sub-Saharan region. But they particularly favor open savannas, kopjes, and low woodlands. With an average length of 2.5 to 4.5 meters, this is the longest venomous snake in Africa and the second longest in the world. The black mamba possesses one of the most sophisticated venom types in nature. While a single bite from a black mamba typically secretes about 100 to 120 milligrams of venom, this venom is an extremely potent neurotoxin, directly targeting the neural transmission system and paralyzing the respiratory muscle groups. In the past, before the existence of anti-venom, the casualty rate following a black mamba bite was nearly 100%. It is the pinnacle of specialization. Faster, more toxic, and more decisive than any adversary. In your view, which is the more formidable, the physical strength of the African rock python, or the speed and chemical weaponry of the black mamba? Please let us know your choice in the comments. And now, let us meet the nemesis of the black mamba. A small creature weighing only a few kilograms, yet possessing the courage of a warrior, and a biological armor that defies all laws of toxicity. That is the mongoose, the one dubbed the serpent assassin. The acetylcholine receptors in their nervous system have undergone a sophisticated evolutionary mutation. Instead of allowing neurotoxins to bind and cause paralysis, as in other mammals, the mongoose's receptors possess a geometric structure that prevents this connection. This transforms them into naturally immune entities. Although they never clash in the wild, even if struck by a king cobra, a mongoose may only be momentarily stunned before awakening to continue the pursuit. In the African savanna, the mongoose subdues the most potent venomous snakes not only through its resistance to toxins, but also through the clever tactic of energy attrition. it takes only approximately 0.02 seconds to evade. Faster than even the striking speed of a snake. In this game of chess, the mongoose is the one controlling the rhythm, rendering the opponent's venom a useless burden. Moving southward, leaving behind the lush riverine forests, and returning to Botswana. The Savuti Marsh is a land of geological paradoxes. At its heart lies the Savuti Channel, a peculiar current that at times surges with vitality and at others remains parched for decades without clear reason. Transforming vibrant green wetlands into haunting ghost forests. Savuti covers a vast area of approximately 5,000 square kilometers in the northwest region of Chobe. The terrain here consists primarily of arid grasslands, dense sandbelts of the Kalahari Desert, and the solitary Gubatsa Hills. Savuti is historically famous for lion prides that specialize in hunting elephants, a rare behavior born only from the most extreme environmental conditions, where calories become a true battle of life and death. While most large mammals must retreat, concealing themselves in dark recesses to conserve moisture and lower their temperatures, the stratosphere suddenly transforms into a fiery arena. This is the peak hour for the sky strategists. The martial eagle is Africa's largest bird of prey, with a massive wingspan that can reach 2.6 meters. Their retinas possess a density of visual cells 8 times higher than that of humans, allowing them to detect prey from an altitude of 6 kilometers. Instead of circling the prey and revealing a shadow on the ground, the martial eagle executes a stoop from an immense distance. They always choose a descent angle so that the sun remains directly behind them. In those few seconds of temporary blindness, the martial eagle has closed the distance at a velocity of up to 230 kilometers per hour. The long and rigid hallux claw generates a powerful constriction. This is a rare eagle species that dares to engage targets twice or even 3 times its own body weight. Despite such majesty, the martial eagle is facing a challenging reality. According to the 2025 to 2026 Conservation Report, this species has been classified as critically endangered. The territorial area of a single eagle pair requires more than 300 square kilometers. Habitat fragmentation causes them to lose their energy highway. Additionally, they are often discouraged by farmers due to the misconception that they take livestock. However, GPS studies indicate that 99% of their menu consists of wild species, helping to monitor lizard and rodent populations. While most birds of prey choose to strike from the sky, the secretary bird opts for the lifestyle of a persistent wanderer. Each day, they may traverse distances of up to 30 kilometers across open plains. The name secretary originates from the long feathers behind the head, resembling the quill pens that clerks of the past used to tuck behind their ears. However, a more compelling theory suggests the bird's name stems from the Arabic sakra et taya, meaning hunter bird. Their image appears with great pride on the national emblems of both South Africa and Sudan. The longest legs in the raptor world relative to body proportions. Not only do they provide a superior vantage point above the tall grass, but they are also covered in a thick and rugged layer of scales, protecting them from venomous encounters. A single strike from a secretary bird takes a mere 15 milliseconds to connect with the target. Their vision is also perfectly synchronized with the movement of their legs. The secretary bird utilizes exceptionally strong thigh muscle groups to generate great acceleration, concentrating on a single point, usually the head of the serpent. A solitary strike in exchange for a high-value protein feast with almost zero risk of injury. In contrast to its elegant appearance, the common fiscal is also known by the moniker Jackie Hanger. Despite belonging to the passerine order, they possess a beak with a sharp notch and a powerful hook. A characteristic typically found only in apex raptors like eagles or hawks. However, they lack the powerful talons required to secure and dismantle a target. To resolve this design flaw, the fiscal has transformed the thorns of the acacia tree or human wire fences into a third hand. These thorn bushes serve as a biological larder. In an energy market as volatile as the savanna, caching calories on thorns serves as insurance for days when foraging is less successful, especially during the breeding season when the energy requirements of the young surge. Certain insects, such as toxic grasshoppers, often carry chemical defenses for self-protection. The fiscal will impale them on a thorn and wait for 24 to 48 hours. Under the influence of ultraviolet rays and time, these toxins naturally break down, converting a risky meal into a safe source of protein. A rare bird that understands how to patiently prepare its food using time and light. For a male fiscal, a well-organized resource display is how they demonstrate superior fitness to attract a mate. This species is also noted for possessing an incredible spatial memory. An individual can manage dozens of different hanging points across its expansive territory. For the fiscal, intellect and resourcefulness can compensate for a lack of stature. In an ecosystem teeming with massive predatory corporations, the black-backed jackal does not choose direct confrontation. They operate as a versatile private unit, ready to shift their entire caloric business model after a single rainy season. The black-backed jackal possesses a peculiar distribution map with two entirely separate populations. One in the Horn of Africa and another in the southern strip of the continent, separated by a geographic void of up to 900 kilometers. This is one of the most ancient canine species remaining. Fossil records indicate they have barely altered their appearance for the past 2 to 3 million years. This endurance stems from a superior ability to adapt to all weather patterns. From the bone-chilling cold of the Ethiopian highlands to the searing aridity of the Namib Desert. As a typical omnivore, the black-backed jackal never places all its eggs in one basket. The dry season is a period of tightening the belt, the jackal shifts to a niche market, becoming specialists in hunting rodents and insects. Moving into the boom phase of the rainy season, they take advantage of the chaos to pursue young antelopes. The black-backed jackal chooses a monogamous lifestyle. A pair remains bonded not only to raise offspring, but to optimize hunting performance. Leaving behind the lush river oases and the endless low-grass plains, our journey enters its final chapter, into the buffer zone of the savanna. Here, the yellow baboon completely shatters the stereotype of a passive vegetarian species. In this ecosystem, they are resourceful opportunists, operating with a brain that possesses a large cortical ratio, a weapon that helps them transform collective intelligence into a tool for dominance and procurement. They do not merely consume insects or small birds. Scientists have recorded baboon troops organizing hunts for young impala. And even other primate species, such as the vervet monkey. The yellow baboon utilizes the spot and stalk hunting method. They spot the vulnerabilities in an opponent's defensive system. Afterward, they stalk the target with patience before concluding the encounter with canine teeth reaching 5 centimeters in length. This troop coordination also serves as the strongest shield against their ancestral rival. The leopard. Within a baboon troop, every individual has a specific job description. Strong young males typically travel on the periphery to act as sentries, while females and infants are protected in the center. Their communication repertoire includes over 30 types of vocalizations and dozens of distinct physical gestures. When moving through high-risk areas, the baboon troop will shift formation into a narrow vertical line to minimize exposure to adversaries, while the guards continuously signal to ensure that no member is left behind. Upon detecting a threat, they coordinate a mobbing behavior. This tactic strikes at the psychology of the solitary hunter. The leopard understands that an injury from a baboon's fangs could result in a loss of hunting ability and, ultimately, lead to a decline in its condition. When the dry season fully settles in, water becomes the most precious currency, and existence is measured drop by drop. These resident giants now face their sternest trial. How does one sustain such immense bodies as life-giving resources diminish day by day? Survival will hinge on endurance and resilience. We are about to enter the darkest chapter of the Serengeti, where the dry season will separate the enduring from those who fade into the red dust. For giants like African buffalo, the dry season becomes a race against depletion. As smaller waterholes vanish, they are forced into grueling journeys. The distance between grazing grounds and permanent water can stretch up to 20 kilometers. Every step is an energy debt. Fatigue turns these armored tanks into slower, more vulnerable targets. Meanwhile, giraffe and impala adopt a more refined strategy, browsing wood instead of grass. By now, grass is little more than empty cellulose, while acacia leaves still hold traces of life. Yet the price is far from small. Acacia trees defend themselves with 5-centimeter thorns and high concentrations of tannins. These residents have evolved digestive systems capable of tolerating both toxins and coarse fiber. Below the surface of the savanna's bustle, warthog choose concealment. They reduce nearly all daytime activity, spending long hours in deep burrows where humidity and temperature remain stable. For lion, the dry season is when royal authority is tested by hunger. With 80% of prey having migrated, prides must become meticulous energy accountants. Lion now are the most patient figures on the plain. They can sleep up to 22 hours each day. This is a strategy of calorie conservation. Any attempt to bring down an African buffalo or giraffe at this time becomes a wager where the rewards and losses stand at opposite extremes. Rather than pursuing prey across open land, lion establish ambush points at scarce water sources. They understand that sooner or later, thirst will guide prey directly into their reach. The watering hole becomes the central stage of all drama. It is where survival and finality stand face to face. At times, a fragile truce emerges from shared exhaustion. Lion and prey may stand only a few meters apart, both too overheated and drained to initiate conflict. is a debt often paid in blood. Yet for a mother, it begins in absolute silence. After 110 days of pregnancy, instinct guides her into solitude. She seeks a natural fortress among the rocky kopjes to safeguard the lives not yet born. Meanwhile, out on the open plain, her sisters are operating the true machinery of war. These lionesses are the architects of the empire's survival. With streamlined bodies and the absence of heavy manes, they are precision hunters. They do not simply hunt, they execute geometry in motion. One group advances as the vanguard, steering prey into position, while others wait in ambush at the terrain's most decisive location. 90% of the protein sustaining this kingdom comes from those collective efforts. Lionesses serve as hunters, tacticians, and primary providers, even for the indolent kings. Survival in the Serengeti leaves no room for selfishness. When mothers give birth around the same time, they form a cooperative alliance. A shared nursery ensures that even when one mother goes out to hunt, her cubs are guarded and nourished by the milk of aunts and sisters. This tolerance is the key to preserving the bloodline. For the greatest threat does not come from the jaws of spotted hyena or the claws of leopard, but from nomadic male lion. These intruders crave dominance and may eliminate an entire previous generation to establish a dynasty of their own. In those darkest moments, gentle mothers transform into relentless defenders, standing firm with their final reserves of strength to shield their young. The first small steps onto the red soil of the Serengeti mark the beginning of a formidable journey. These cubs do not yet realize they stand atop the summit of a food chain, layered with hidden trials. The Serengeti ground does not welcome the weak with a red carpet. It welcomes them with a final verdict hanging in the air. For this future king, every step out of the rocky den is one step closer to the grassland's unforgiving crucible. 80% of lion cubs will fall before they reach their first birthday. Nature has no concept of fairness. This is a ruthless cleansing where life is counted hour by hour and a mother's vigilance is the only shield. While the pride's warriors are busy with hunting expeditions, the home front becomes a fatal weak spot. Old enemies always know how to wait. Spotted hyenas are specialists at wiping out rivals before they ever have a chance, easing future competition. On top of that, lone hunters like leopards or packs of African wild dogs are always ready to launch a lightning raid if they spot a cub left alone. Even from above, large birds of prey or pythons hidden in the grass see a lion cub as an easy-to-reach protein package. In this kingdom, size is everything. And when you are small, the whole world is your enemy. But the most brutal threat carries their own blood. When a new coalition of male lions overthrows the old ruler, a primal takeover begins. The new leaders will establish their dominance by removing any trace of the previous reign. That way, the new males not only eliminate a rival bloodline, but also push the lionesses back into their breeding cycle in just a few days. This is a race of dominant genes. The mothers will not quietly accept it. They will fight back fiercely, sometimes choosing exile, carrying their cubs into hiding across enemy ground to protect the last flicker of hope for their lineage. Even those seen as prey have their own payback. African buffalo have long-term memory and a deep, simmering grudge. They will actively seek out and trample future kings the moment they get the chance. On top of that, in a lion pride, priority always goes to the strong. If they can survive this fragile stage, their lives will turn a new page. No longer helpless children needing constant cover, they will begin joining real-world lessons in survival skills. A new journey full of trials waits ahead, where playful games will soon turn into life-or-death chases. Young kings are about to step into a school of scars and cunning to truly take command of this kingdom. The epic saga of the savanna is not merely a series of pursuits or intense confrontations. It is the greatest energy management system on the planet. Here, Every living being is a link in an endless network of calorie circulation. But the brilliant portrait of those survival algorithms is facing a variable unprecedented in evolutionary history: the harsh intervention of humanity. The greatest concern for the grasslands in 2026 is no longer drought, but fragmentation. More than 60% of ancient migratory corridors have been dismantled. When paths are blocked, wildebeest herds cannot reach green pastures at the correct moment, leading to a phenomenon known as biological mismatch. Young are born when the grasslands have already withered, creating a calorie crisis right from the cradle. This separation also pushes predators into narrow ecological islands, where inbreeding is silently weakening the genetic pool of monarchs, such as the lion or the cheetah. Beside the claws of rivals, predators must now face the risk of lead contamination from hunter ammunition. Poisoned baits used to protect livestock are also pushing vulture populations to the brink of disappearance. If they vanish, the calorie circulation cycle becomes obstructed, and the accumulation of remains triggers outbreaks of pandemics like anthrax, threatening the entire system in return. Furthermore, light and noise pollution from high-end luxury resorts are disrupting the map of the landscape of fear. Electric lights obscure the moonlight, stripping away the leopard's advantage of invisibility and interfering with the navigation abilities of the African rock python. The savanna at night, once a place of absolute silence, is now torn apart by engine noise, causing sensitive species like wild dogs to lose their ability to communicate through sound during nocturnal foraging. But amidst the shadows, the light of hope is emerging from the most resourceful conservation measures. By 2006, we no longer just protect the animal. We protect the interconnected network. Monitoring shy species such as the black-footed cat or the serval no longer requires expensive camera traps. With just a single water sample from communal watering holes, eDNA technology can analyze floating genetic codes to accurately determine the presence and health of the entire local population. The greatest lesson the savanna has taught us over millions of years is there are no absolute winners. A healthy ecosystem is a place where the predator never eliminates all the prey. And the prey always finds a window of opportunity to endure. The savanna is not a legacy for us to store in a museum. It is a living dialogue. Every time we protect a hectare of grassland or a rushing Mara River, we are also protecting the wisdom of evolution and the self-healing capacity of this planet. After this journey, have you discovered which predator possesses the most strategic and efficient foraging method? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Do not forget to like and share the video, as well as subscribe to the channel and enable notifications so you do not miss our next fascinating journeys.